Right. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into China Mobile's 2023 annual report.
Okay.
We're going to kind of be going over, their business segments. We'll take a look at their financials and see how they plan to keep shareholders happy.
Yeah, sounds good.
So to kick things off, what kind of company are we dealing with here?
So China Mobile is a pretty big player in the telecom and information services world.
Okay.
And they're not only operating across, mainland China and Hong Kong,
Right.
but they're really trying to build this digital intelligence ecosystem, as they call it.
Okay, digital intelligence ecosystem. That
Yeah.
sounds like something out of, like a sci-fi movie.
Right.
What does that actually mean, in the real world?
Basically, it boils down to them going all in on 5G,
Okay.
cloud computing, and AI.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really not just laying cables anymore. They're really trying to lay the groundwork for this future.
Yeah.
It's driven by data and this intelligent technology.
Okay.
And they're calling this evolution the two new elements.
Two new elements.
Yeah.
What are those?
So the first one is all about building a new information infrastructure.
Okay.
So think of it as like the foundation for this digital intelligence world.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes their massive 5G network,
Right.
content networks, and also a platform to connect everything seamlessly.
Okay.
Now, the second element
Yeah.
is focused on the services that are built on top of that infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about connectivity, of course.
Yeah.
But they're also emphasizing computability.
Computability. Okay.
Capability.
So computability, now that's a word I haven't heard before.
Uh-huh.
How is that different from just like computing power?
Okay, so it is a subtle but important distinction.
Yeah.
So think of computing power as like the raw energy, right?
Yeah.
Like electricity.
Okay.
Now, computability, on the other hand,
Yeah.
is how effectively that energy can be harnessed and then applied
Okay.
to solve problems, process information, and create new forms of value.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just about having the biggest, fastest computers.
Right.
But about using them in smarter, more effective ways.
Exactly.
Oh.
And that focus on computability, I think, could be a real game changer here.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that they're not just building a bigger, faster digital world,
Yeah.
but one
Yeah.
that is more intelligent and efficient.
Okay. I'm starting to see how these two new elements kind of fit together here.
Yeah.
So how is all of this actually playing out in their business?
Sure.
Let's get into some of those juicy details.
So they've divided their business into 4 key segments:
Okay.
personal household business,
Mm.
and what they call the new market.
The new market. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's unpack each of those.
Okay.
Starting with the personal market. What are they doing there?
So the personal market is their bread and butter.
Okay.
They're offering mobile and fixed line communication services to individuals,
Right.
but they're not just sitting back and collecting subscription fees.
Okay.
They're really actively driving 5G adoption.
Mhm.
And also introducing these innovative digital products to
Mhm.
keep customers, engaged and spending.
So like give us some examples of some of these innovations.
So think high definition video streaming,
Okay.
cloud storage solutions,
Mhm.
and even enhanced SIM cards.
Enhanced SIM cards.
Yeah, with like extra features and capabilities.
Okay.
So they're really going beyond just the basic connectivity and offering a richer and more integrated digital experience.
It's like they're building like a whole digital ecosystem around each customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them hooked on your ecosystem and they're less likely to go to a competitor.
Right.
Okay, so what about the household market then?
So in the household market, they're targeting families with smart home solutions
Okay.
and gigabit broadband services.
Okay.
So it's all about making homes more connected, more entertaining, and also more convenient.
It seems like every company these days is trying to get into the smart home game.
Yeah.
What makes China Mobile's approach unique or particularly competitive?
So one advantage they have is their existing infrastructure.
Okay.
So they're already running fiber optic cables into millions of homes.
Right.
So that gives them a head start in delivering these ultra-fast internet speeds that smart homes crave.
Okay.
They can also bundle their smart home services with their existing mobile and fixed line offerings
Yeah.
to create these attractive packages for families.
Bundling. Yeah, that's always a powerful strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the business market.
Sure.
What's happening there?
So the business market is a huge opportunity for them,
Yeah.
and they're really grabbing it with both hands.
Right.
They're providing integrated ICT solutions to enterprises
Mm-hmm.
with a focus on helping them digitally transform their operations.
So give us the highlights there.
Right.
What does that digital transformation actually entail for these businesses?
So it's everything from cloud migration
Oh.
and AI applications to building this industrial internet. They're
Yeah.
helping companies, streamline their processes, improve efficiency. Right.
Leverage data-driven insights
Yeah.
and become, more agile and competitive in this digital world.
I can see how that would be a compelling proposition for
Yeah.
businesses struggling to keep up with the pace of technological change.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about this mysterious new market segment.
Right.
What is that all about?
So this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
So the new market segment captures all their ventures that go beyond these traditional telecom offerings.
Good.
It's about diversification,
Mm-hmm.
strategic investments,
Right.
and tapping into some of these emerging trends.
So what kind of ventures are we talking about here?
So first, they're expanding their international footprint,
Okay.
leveraging their expertise to tap into new markets beyond China.
That makes sense.
They're also making strategic equity investments,
Okay.
which could involve acquiring, promising startups
Mm-hmm.
or partnering with key players in different industries.
That's a classic diversification strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
exactly.
But it goes beyond just that.
All right.
They're also getting into digital content creation
Okay.
with platforms like MyU Video offering streaming services, VR and AR experiences,
Right.
cloud gaming, and even, forays into the metaverse.
So they're not holding back.
No, they're not.
Anything else?
Yes. They're also dipping their toes into financial technology services
Pro-
with their An Wallet offering.
Wallet.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're creating a whole ecosystem of digital services that complement their core telecom business
Mhm.
and also capture these new revenue streams.
It's impressive how they're branching out and embracing all these different opportunities,
Right.
but with such ambitious growth plans.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that they're facing?
Okay. So one major challenge is just the sheer speed of technological advancement.
Yeah.
They need to stay ahead of the curve, constantly innovating and updating their infrastructure
Right.
and their service offerings to keep pace with the latest trends.
Yeah, they can't afford to fall behind in this fast-paced world.
Exactly.
What else is keeping them up at night?
Cybersecurity is a huge concern.
Okay.
With increasing cyber threats and concerns about data security,
Right.
they need to constantly invest in robust measures to protect their systems and also customer information.
Absolutely.
A single major breach could damage their reputation and cost them millions.
Data is the new gold,
Mhm.
and everyone wants a piece of it.
Right.
So how are they approaching their growth strategy in light of these challenges? What are they actually doing to stay competitive and innovative?
So they're making some interesting shifts.
Yeah.
They're moving away from this purely quantitative approach,
Okay.
just being the biggest,
Mm-hmm.
towards a more qualitative focus on effectiveness and efficiency.
Okay.
So it's not just about subscriber numbers anymore. It's about delivering real value to those subscribers.
Okay. And what about their time horizon for seeing results?
Okay.
Are they thinking short-term or long-term?
So they're definitely shifting towards a more sustainable mid to long-term view of value growth. It suggests a more patient approach focused on building this solid foundation for the future
Okay.
rather than chasing these quick wins.
Makes sense. You can't build a digital empire overnight.
Right.
And speaking of building, we can't forget about their emphasis on AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're fully embracing these AI plus initiatives.
Right.
Building on the progress that they've made with 5G plus. They're investing heavily in expanding their 5G network
Okay.
and also creating this robust cloud computing infrastructure
Yeah.
as part of their East Data West computing strategy.
East Data West Computing. Tell us more about that.
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind that strategy?
So it's all about optimizing their resources and their computing power.
Okay.
So they're strategically distributing data centers across the country, concentrating data in the West where energy and land are cheaper,
Right.
and moving computing power to the East where demand is higher.
So it's like a digital version of those massive hydroelectric dams,
Yeah.
harnessing resources in one area to power another.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
They're creating a digital grid that can intelligently distribute resources where they're needed most.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So besides this big picture strategy,
Yeah.
what specific initiatives are they implementing to drive growth and innovation?
So they're investing in this 6x1 capability framework.
6x1 capability framework.
Yeah.
Okay.
To streamline their service management.
Okay.
So this framework aims to enhance everything from marketing and service handling to resource allocation and task assignment.
Okay.
So think of it as a way to make their operations more agile and efficient.
Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Okay.
And of course, they're pushing for intelligent upgrades across their operations using AI.
Okay.
So this includes things like smart operation service construction and management.
Right.
They're even exploring the use of digital staff to increase efficiency and handle these routine tasks.
Digital staff, you're going to have to explain that.
Okay, so it's essentially about creating AI-powered virtual employees.
Yeah.
So imagine software programs that can handle customer service inquiries,
Right.
process invoices, or even help with marketing campaigns.
Okay.
So it's a way to automate tasks,
Yeah.
reduce costs, and free up human employees to focus on more complex and creative work.
It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel.
Right.
But it's happening right now.
It is.
Makes you wonder what the future of work will look like.
It certainly does.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about their ambitious vision, their diverse business segments, and their strategic initiatives.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the bottom line.
Okay.
How did all these efforts actually translate into financial results in 2023?
So their total revenue reached an astounding RMB 937.259 billion.
Okay.
That's consistent growth, even in a challenging global economic environment.
It's a massive number.
Yeah.
Any company would be happy with that kind of top-line growth. But revenue is only part of the story.
Right.
What about their profitability?
So their profit for the year hit RMB 125.594 billion, with basic earnings per share of RMB 5.88.
Wow.
Not too shabby.
Definitely not.
No.
Those are some solid numbers.
Yeah.
Before we dive deeper into the specifics of their financial performance, let's take a quick break and come back to explore those details.
Sounds good. Those profit numbers definitely caught my attention, but to understand the full picture, I think we need to break down their revenue streams a bit further.
Okay.
And one thing that really stands out to me is the performance of their new market segment.
Yeah, that's been on my mind too.
Right.
Give us those numbers. How much growth are we talking about here?
Okay, so hold on to your hat. This segment saw a 28.2% year-on-year growth, reaching RMB 49.3 billion in revenue.
Wow, okay.
That's not just pocket change.
Yeah.
That's a clear sign that their diversification strategy is paying off.
So they're not just a telecom company anymore.
Right.
They're a digital content powerhouse, an international player, and a force to be reckoned with in financial technology.
Yeah.
That's a lot to juggle.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to their ability to adapt and innovate.
Okay.
But let's not forget about their traditional strengths.
Okay.
Their international business is also booming,
Right.
with revenue growing by 24.2% to reach RMB 20.7 billion.
Wow, okay.
And their digital content platforms like Migyu Video are really taking off, pulling in a hefty RMB 28 billion in revenue,
Okay.
a 31.6% jump from the previous year.
They're really tapping into some lucrative growth areas.
Yes, they are.
But what's driving all this success? Is it just the 5G rollout, or are there other factors at play?
So 5G is definitely a major factor,
Okay.
attracting new customers and driving data consumption like never before.
Yeah.
But it's more than just the technology itself. It's also about how they're using it. Their aggressive expansion into these new market segments is creating a snowball effect, diversifying their revenue streams and allowing them to capitalize on these emerging trends.
So they're playing the field, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah, it really does.
But growth often comes at a cost. Are they managing their finances responsibly, or are they just throwing money at every shiny new opportunity?
Well, from what I see, they're running a tight ship.
Okay.
Effective cost management and operational efficiency measures are definitely contributing to their healthy profit margins.
Okay.
So they're not just spending, they're spending smart.
That's music to any investor's ears. So we've got the big picture revenue and profit numbers.
Right.
But let's dive a little deeper into the nitty-gritty of their financial statements.
Okay.
Where should we start?
So let's start with their consolidated income statement.
Okay.
What jumps out at me is this consistent upward trend in their operating revenue.
Okay.
Over the past few years, they've managed to steadily increase their top line, which is a strong indicator of their market dominance and their ability to attract new customers.
That's the kind of consistency investors love to see.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about growth, it's about profitable growth.
Right.
What's the story there?
So the good news continues. Their profit for the year has also been steadily climbing,
Okay.
suggesting they're not just growing for the sake of growth, but doing so in a way that benefits the bottom line.
So they're not sacrificing profitability for market share,
Exactly.
which is a common trap for companies in growth mode.
It is.
What about their profit margins? Are they holding steady or are they shrinking as they scale up?
Well, the profit margins are looking pretty healthy,
Okay.
which means they're effectively controlling costs while generating this substantial revenue.
Hmm.
This really speaks volumes about their operational efficiency and their strategic decision-making.
Right.
They're not just throwing money at problems,
Yeah.
they're finding smart, cost-effective solutions.
Okay. So the income statement is giving us a thumbs up so far.
Yeah, I'd say so.
What about their consolidated balance sheet?
Okay.
What catches your eye there?
Well, their asset base is undeniably impressive.
Okay.
They've invested heavily in property, plant, and equipment, which is essential for their infrastructure and network expansion.
Right.
This tells me they're really playing the long game here,
Okay.
building a solid foundation for future growth.
So they're not afraid to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to investing in their future.
Exactly.
What about the other side of the balance sheet, their liabilities?
Okay.
Are they taking on too much debt to fuel this expansion?
Their liabilities seem pretty manageable, indicating they're not over-leveraged
Right.
and are in a strong financial position to weather any potential storms.
Mm.
They're not just betting on a sunny future, they're preparing for the inevitable rainy days as well.
That's a prudent approach,
It is.
especially in today's uncertain global economy.
Yeah.
Now let's dig into their consolidated cash flow statement.
Okay.
What's the story there?
So the highlight here is their consistent ability to generate cash flow from operations.
Okay.
This means their core business is churning out cash,
Right.
which is vital for funding their growth initiatives, paying those attractive dividends,
Yeah.
and also maintaining their financial stability.
It's the lifeblood of any business.
It is.
Without strong cash flow, even the most profitable companies can struggle.
Absolutely.
So they're generating cash. What are they doing with it?
Right.
Are they just sitting on a pile of cash or are they putting it to work?
Well, their investing activities show us they're definitely not afraid to put that cash to work. They're
Right.
pouring it into capital expenditures, research and development, and strategic acquisitions.
Right.
So they're not just playing defense, they're actively shaping their future in this rapidly changing digital landscape.
So they're building for tomorrow, not just enjoying today's success.
Right.
Now let's not forget about free cash flow. That's the cash they have left over after covering their essential capital expenditures. And it's a key indicator of their financial flexibility
Wow.
and their ability to reward shareholders.
Absolutely. Free cash flow is the holy grail for many investors.
Yeah.
And China Mobile is generating a healthy amount.
Okay.
In 2023, their free cash flow reached RMB 136.408 billion.
Wow.
A substantial sum that gives them plenty of options
Right.
for reinvestment, debt reduction, or shareholder payouts.
So they got the financial firepower to pursue these ambitious growth plans.
Yeah,
While keeping investors happy. That's a winning combination.
it is.
Now let's talk specifically about those happy shareholders.
Yeah.
How are they rewarding investors?
So according to their dividend policy, they aim to share profits with shareholders while ensuring sustainable growth.
Okay.
They target a dividend payout ratio of 70% or above of their profit attributable to equity shareholders.
That's a generous policy,
It is.
demonstrating their commitment to returning value to shareholders.
Absolutely.
Can you give us those specific dividend numbers?
Sure. So for 2023, their final dividend was HK $2.43 per share.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Now, what about share buybacks? Did they repurchase any shares during the year?
So it doesn't look like they did.
All right.
They haven't conducted any share buybacks in recent years, suggesting they see more value in reinvesting their profits to fuel future growth. So they're betting on themselves, so to speak?
It's a strategic decision,
It is?
choosing to plow those profits back into the business rather than returning them to shareholders through buybacks.
Right.
It suggests they see some significant growth opportunities on the horizon
Yeah.
and are confident in their ability to capitalize on them.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But speaking of the horizon, let's shift gears a bit and talk about their overall assessment moving forward.
Okay.
Are they well-positioned for continued success, or are there storm clouds gathering?
Well, they're operating in a dynamic and rapidly evolving industry,
Right.
so there are always challenges to navigate.
Yeah.
But overall, they seem to be in a really strong position.
Okay.
They're riding the wave of this increasing data consumption. They're at the forefront of the 5G and AI revolution.
And they're expanding into these promising new markets.
So they're not just keeping up, they're setting the pace.
Exactly.
But what about those potential storm clouds you mentioned?
Yeah.
What are some of the specific challenges and risks that they face?
So competition in the telecommunications sector is always fierce,
Okay.
and new players are constantly emerging.
Mm-hmm.
They need to stay agile and innovative to fend off those challengers.
Right.
Plus, potential regulatory changes could impact their operations.
Yeah.
And evolving cybersecurity threats require constant vigilance and investment.
Right.
They're not just sailing on calm seas. They need to be prepared for rough waters as well.
That's a great point. No company, no matter how successful, can afford to be complacent.
No, they can't.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into China Mobile's 2023 annual report, what are some key takeaways for our listeners to ponder?
Okay.
What should they be thinking about as they assess China Mobile's future prospects?
So here's what I would say. China Mobile is a powerhouse in the telecommunications and digital services world.
And they're showing no signs of slowing down.
Right.
They're financially strong, strategically savvy, and committed to innovation. But the real question is, how will they navigate the complexities and uncertainties of the years ahead?
It's a question every investor should be asking.
Yeah.
Will they continue to ride the wave of success, or will they stumble as the digital landscape shifts beneath their feet?
Right.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is fascinating to think about how a company as large as China Mobile can maintain its agility in such a rapidly changing industry.
Yeah. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But they're clearly aware of this need to adapt.
Yeah.
In their annual report, they repeatedly emphasize this transition from quantitative to qualitative leadership, focusing on effectiveness and efficiency
Right.
rather than just sheer scale.
Okay.
Like they're saying, we're not just the biggest anymore, we're the best.
That's a bold statement.
It is.
But do their actions actually back that up?
So let's look at some specific examples.
Okay.
One of their key initiatives is this 6x1 capability framework,
Right.
which is designed to streamline their service management and make their operations more agile.
Okay.
They're also pushing really hard on these intelligent upgrades across their business,
Yeah.
using AI to enhance everything from network construction to customer service.
So it sounds like they're taking a page from the Silicon Valley playbook,
Yeah.
embracing those agile, data-driven approaches that have made those tech companies so successful.
That's a good observation.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Right.
To compete in the digital world, you need to think and act like a digital company, even if your roots are in this more traditional industry.
Right. It's not just about building networks anymore.
Right.
It's about building intelligent and responsive systems
Yeah,
that can adapt to these changing customer needs and these market conditions.
exactly. And one of the most intriguing aspects, I think, of their strategy is their exploration of digital staff.
Right.
It raises some really fascinating questions, I think, about the future of work
Yeah.
and how technology is going to reshape the workforce.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Is this digital workforce just cost-cutting measure, or is it something more profound?
I think it's more nuanced than just replacing humans with machines.
Okay.
It's about finding that optimal balance between human creativity and ingenuity
Right.
and the efficiency and scalability of AI. They're not just eliminating jobs,
Yeah.
they're redefining them,
Okay.
freeing up human employees to focus on these higher value tasks
Right.
that require, strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, and also complex problem solving.
So it's about augmenting human capabilities,
Yeah.
not replacing them entirely.
Precisely. It's about creating this more collaborative and dynamic workforce
Okay.
where humans and AI work together to achieve, greater outcomes.
Okay. But of course, this raises important questions about the skills and training needed for this new world of work. Right? How do you prepare a workforce for jobs that don't even exist yet?
Right.
It's a challenge not just for China Mobile,
Yeah.
but for the entire global economy.
It is, and it requires, I think, this fundamental shift in how we think about education,
Right.
training, and workforce development. We need to focus on developing these uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
Right.
Creativity, critical thinking,
Yeah.
adaptability, and also emotional intelligence.
So China Mobile's story is not just about technology and finance.
Right.
It's also about the human impact of these changes and how we prepare for a future that's increasingly shaped by AI.
That's a profound point.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that even as we marvel at these capabilities of technology, we can't lose sight of the human element.
Well said as we conclude this deep dive. What's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from China Mobile's 2023 journey?
I'd say that China Mobile is a company in constant motion, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this digital world and not just adapting to change.
They're driving it.
Okay.
And as they navigate this uncharted territory, they're raising these important questions not just about technology and business, but also about the future of work and the very nature of human potential.
It's a story that's still being written, and it will be fascinating to see where it leads. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into China Mobile's 2023 annual report. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are as excited as we are to see what the future holds for this dynamic company.